Oh yes, that's the right thing. So yes, these are the new Hype 2.
If you call your IEM the Hype 2, it's certainly going to be really hype for sure, right? Well, here's ThieAudio's latest release, the Hybrid Performance. Hype, get it? A clever name for another entrant in the mid-range IEM scene, but really, does it live up to the hype? Hey there, if you're new to the channel and find the content entertaining and interesting, do consider supporting me. And if you've already done so, you are an amazing person. And you can be even more amazing if you leave a comment about your thoughts about this IEM here below today. Today in the studio, we have the ThieAudio Hype 2, a $299 USD IEM that's meant to be the most hype IEM from ThieAudio so far. And it's certainly got a lot of attention. So how will this do in our review? Let's find out more. First off, the box that it comes in is much larger than small puny IEM boxes from other brands. The presence the sleeve has is already undoubtedly there to catch your eye. It's a clean modern design and features all the details one would want to know about it. Inside it has got 2 dynamic drivers and 2 balance armatures, and on the side it really details what drivers are used, which are the Sonion 2356 and E25ST drivers. Simple information and enough to catch your attention for those who like all these small little geeky details. In the box itself, there's the IEM tucked away in a foam cutout and a huge IEM case that is actually pretty sturdy. They could honestly do with a smaller one, but the large case is definitely nice as you could fit a small medium-sized DAP in along with your IEMs. The unboxing is definitely on par with some higher priced IEMs and even outdoes some double or triple its price point. It is simply a good experience that many can appreciate. Build quality, the IEMs are the usual custom universal shape and it isn't too foreign to many other similarly designed IEMs. The faceplate here is really gorgeous with the sparkle patterns, and the cable itself is also really eye-catching with a nice soft supple pliability. The glossy shells will attract fingerprints, but hey, it's not a big problem at all because it's really easy to clean off, and the dark color of the shell really means that they just barely even show up. They also feature a simple 2-pin configuration and allows most aftermarket cables to be swapped. There is a clear lack of balanced 2.5mm or 4.4mm out there to be used with your Hype 2. However, if you want to use your own balance sources, you would have to get your own balance cables. Of course, at $299 US, you'd expect this with this IEM, so it's really in line with what else it's really priced around at. So moving on, the cable itself isn't microphonic and won't really be a bother to most people. There's a really nice solid Y splitter and a chin slider for those of you who want to secure it a little bit better. The over-ear hooks are really nice and comfy and soft and really mold to your ears. Comfort. The Hype 2 is really comfortable for me and it should fit most people really nicely and snugly. There really isn't much to complain about this type of shape. It is a safe and rather reliable shape to adopt. The cable is super soft and does not have much memory to mess with the user experience, so that's really a plus in my books. There is however some driver flags, but it's not really a major issue and does not really affect the sound quality. And this brings me to the next point: sound. The Hype 2 features an interesting feature that's not really seen a lot these days, which are the dynamic drivers in a isobaric configuration. This push-pull style of IEMs was very popular for a while back in, I think, 2014 to 2016, with Audio-Technica releasing the CKR9 and CKR10 coming to mind as the first to utilize this dual DD phase push-pull design. This results in a meaty, punchy bass that is very tasteful, not muddy. It's got enough control to not overpower the lower mids, which is honestly a very fine line to tread. Sub-bass is rumbly and detailed, and mid-bass kicks cleanly and quickly. The bass is just solid and not necessarily a bass head's ideal, but it presents it so clearly and cleanly that anybody will enjoy the quality that it possesses. The speed and rumble are basically the strong points of it, and the Hype 2 really flexes their guns really well. Now moving on to mids, the lower mids are not the strongest suit of the Hype 2, although it's not really bad in any way. It is presented nice and clearly, but it lacks a bit of body in some tracks. Male vocals just take a slight back seat, although not really a bad thing, it's just not the best thing about the Hype 2, and that's really okay since there are some qualities that it really does better than others. Which brings me to the rest of the mid-range, especially the upper mids. Female vocals shine exceptionally, especially those who are familiar with any songs such as YOASOBI as such. There is this focused nature of female vocals that is just so euphoric to listen to, and it really lands a beautiful and intricate rendering of vocals. The high notes in pianos are really beautifully presented and all blend nicely into one smooth, pleasant quality. The mids are accurate and detailed and layers various sources in a clear presentation without feeling too claustrophobic. The treble quality of the Hype 2 is definitely up there too. With nice airiness, there is a smooth and holographic quality to it. It's not aggressive and sharp, but blends really well in the upper mids without peaking anywhere to cause sibilance. It holds its own against the rest of the frequencies and does not make the entire IM feel overly warm or V-shaped. The soundstage of Hype 2 is aided by the presentation and perception of space. It is wide enough to be accurate. The details are already up there and the technicalities is another strong point for sure. As such, there is really good height to the rendering as well. Imaging. The imaging quality also means that you can pinpoint where the sounds are coming from, not just space but the spaces between instruments as well. I do feel that it is a splendidly tuned IM and definitely deserves praise regarding its technicality. As such, it renders depth and positioning really well. And next up, we are going to compare the Hype 2 against some other IMs that is priced similarly to it. First, versus the Kiwiears Quintet. Now, the Quintet is another IM that is priced similarly but has a very different driver configuration internally. It is basically a mishmash of dynamic, planar, balanced armature and piezoelectric driver. So tonally, the Kiwiears are vastly different from the Hype 2. The Quintet has a more technical, leaner character that will indulge those of you who really seek out the nitty-gritty details and want to do so in a very fast and mercurial fashion. The upper mids are a bit more prominent on the Quintet, albeit leaner as well. Comparing the rest of the range, I must say that the Hype 2 is meatier sounding and definitely more full, but the Hype 2 does not really dive into the warm category of IEMs. Overall, the Hype 2 is an overall naturally warm signature that many will find pleasing. Next, versus the 7Hz Timeless AE. Now, the Timeless AE here offers a very different driver setup compared to the DDBA hybrid of the Hype 2. Coming in with only a single planar driver, the Timeless offers a more coherent response, naturally of course because it is done by one single planar driver. It is a very fun V-shaped sound that accentuates bass and treble. I think that the rendering of music between the Hype 2 and Timeless is quite different. The planar has a very distinct planar sound that is very full. I do feel that the treble on the Timeless A to be a little bit more prominent as well. The Hype 2 by comparison is a little bit more laid back and more suitable for longer hours of listening by comparison. And finally, in conclusion, at the end of it, the Hype 2 is an interesting one from ThieAudio. I can see why many have said that it shows shades of its more expensive sibling because for certain tracks it does sound a little bit more expensive than its asking price. All in all, I really enjoyed my time with the Hype 2 and this will be certainly in my rotation for a while. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Superchong Super Audio Show. If you're wondering why do I sound so funny, actually I was a bit sick for the past week. That's why my updates are a little bit slow. I'm recovering, thankfully. I've gotten the disease in the world that it's affecting the world. But don't worry, I'm almost back. My voice is almost back to normal. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. And if you see my post somewhere on Facebook, if you want to ask me anything, just drop me a question there as well. That's fine too. With that said, thank you guys for watching the Superchong Super Audio Show, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye now.